Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm an Airbus pilot, and in today's video let's discuss a common misconception that we see among many flight simulation developers implementing the cabin ready logic in Airbus aircraft. Now, Phoenix actually are the ones who do it best in my opinion, in that there is a slight delay before we get the cabin ready signal, but they don't take for eternity, and most importantly, we don't have to manually kick the cabin crew's butts in order to get to work. Now, what do I mean with that? Well, you are well aware that in many aircraft, such as the fly-by-wire or the toeless Airbuses, in order to get the cabin ready indication, you often need to press the cabin attendant call bell. However, in Airbus aircraft, that is not necessarily how SOPs would go. Let me explain. So, back in the days flying the 737, I'm sure you're going to remember that from my 737 tutorials, we always pressed the call bell prior to the cabin crew conducting their final checks and prior to them giving us the all-clear signal. However, that used to be logical for the 737's SOP, but not so much for the Airbus. Why is that? Well, in the 737 we used to be rather busy during taxi. We would do things like a lengthy before takeoff checklist, we would do things like reviewing a complete takeoff briefing. That might make it very easy to just miss the cabin crew's ready call. However, in Airbus world, things are a little bit different. In the Airbus world, you basically have your entire checklist on the ECAM. All that you literally do is, in some operators, a flight control track, and then you just go over the briefing like, okay, any changes to takeoff briefing? Nah, not really. Alright, that's it. And for the rest of it, you're free to focus on taxiing the airplane. Likewise, since you've got a visual indication of the cabin status, you don't need to worry about the pilots missing the cabin crew's call, because it is going to be indicated automatically on the ECAM memo. Now, what happens in the back of the plane then as we taxi out? Well, I'm sure you've all seen it as passengers, but let's discuss it from the pilot's perspective. So when we're taxiing the airplane out, then the cabin crew will already have started the safety demonstration. Usually they do that prior to the start of pushback or as soon as the doors are closed, but latest normally when the airplane is moving, they would start the safety demonstration. When the safety demonstration is done, the cabin crew needs to go through the cabin to make sure that all the passengers have their seats in correct position, that the tables are retracted, that they wear their seatbelts properly, that the window shades are open, and so on. And basically, as soon as the cabin crew is done with that, they are going to give the all-clear signal on the ECAM by pressing the button for it on the cabin attendant control panel in the forward or aft galley, depending on the airline option in question. Now, when that is done, you're going to get the cabin ready indication on the ECAM. However, since the cabin crew is not going to give you the indication while they are still working their way through the cabin, it would be a pretty bad idea to make them work quicker by doing basically this, which in many add-ons like this one is then going to trigger the cabin ready symbol. Now, all that you would achieve by pushing that call bell is that the cabin crew would effectively start a hurry while already being in a position where they are already working possibly as fast as they can, because they will be very aware of your taxi time and of how long it takes to get ready. But likewise, pilots should be aware of how long it takes for the cabin to get ready and not stress out the cabin crew by hitting that call bell continuously in order to determine what's going on. Basically, as a pilot, you can assume that whenever the cabin calls you, or whenever there is something unusual happening during the taxi, your cabin crew is going to call you. You don't need to call them. So, for that reason, I'm not a very big fan of that principle of having to press a call bell in order to get the cabin crew ready indication on your ECAM. Alright, so I do hope that this sheds a little bit of light into the different kinds of procedures while we did use the call bell on the 737 versus while we don't use it on the A320 or A330 aircraft. I do hope that you found this one interesting. If you did, be sure to let me know in the comments below. And with that, I am going to say thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to leave a like. Leave a comment, let me know what you think of it and if things might be different in your airline. And finally, if you're up for more, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much for watching, and if you really like what I'm doing, I would appreciate a small donation through the Buy Me Coffee link in the video description below. Thank you for watching, and see you all again on the next one.